Hello out there, and here we are with more Prey. This is actually take two. Yeah, for some reason OBS stopped recording. Now, I've been having so many technical issues. I don't know what's going on. First, OBS didn't want to record my audio, so yeah, I'm doing a voiceover instead. And then when I went to edit, this was a operator error. I was trying to make sure I decided to split the two sections I have because I got 2 hours that I played, and I figured since I gotta do a voiceover anyways, I'm gonna split it in two and make two episodes out of it, and you know, but like I said, it didn't record me for some reason. But anyways, when I was editing, I goofed up and deleted everything. Luckily, I still had the raw footage, but I had removed all my edits because I was trying to. There's like the first hour, there was actually a tiny clip at the end that I want to add what's going to be the second episode, which, well, this will be episode 13, so that'd be episode 14, even though technically we skipped episode 11, I believe it was, because the video didn't record. OBS is having some issues. I don't know why, uh, but it is what it is. So I'm going to have to keep an eye on it to make sure it's still recording, and then figure out where it stopped recording at, and then go back to that section if it stops recording again. But being that a lot of stuff that I was talking through the game, I've cut down a little more than I usually would because, well, there's nothing interesting going on in those clips. Like there's a whole room that gets completely cut out, and I'll explain that. I will explain that room a little bit when the time comes, which is pretty early in the video. But there really wasn't anything in there to show. Yeah, but let's get going.
These TranStar PPN-8 pistols are mostly for show. They don't do much against the attackers.
Watching the
Like the
main door.
Eradicate. Dr. Yu, were you up in crew quarters? Have you seen any sign of my wife, Nicole? Last I heard from her, she was on her way there. If you find her, can you help get her here? The thought that she may have become one of those creatures. I'm sorry, Dr. Yu, that was out of line. Forgive me.
I don't know if his wife became one of the creatures or not, but that was episode 11 where we were in the crew quarters, and some of them were turned, but some of them also were mind control. Got your message about the shipment failure. I dispatched an engineer operator to check it out, and something weird happened. Telemetry shows it ran into some sort of uh, energetic latency work. The readings were unlike anything I've seen. The side effects of Psychotronics project? In any case, the operator was able to move through it and investigate, but shortly after it became unresponsive. I'm going to have to get a human eyes on it, but all our people are tied up with critical fuel failure or situation. When that's done, I'll send someone to check it out. Thanks. Okay, so move on to the next one. Do 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 do. There was a blast in Cargo Bay A. The exterior doors ruptured, all bulkhead doors automatically sealed, but several of my people are missing. Dr. Ilgway from Psychotronics was in there, and he's gone as well. No, he's not. Ectrina said she saw a floating orb drift over the chlorine trifluoride container and detonate, possibly some kind of static discharge, but all the dampeners were activated. Secondary blast went off not long ago in fuel storage, but I have that sealed tight and no one was in there. Something is going on. Nobody is calling me back. Let me know as soon as you get this. I'll take the rest of my people over to life support as a precaution. Or I'm going to take the rest of my people over as a precaution. I did a lot of wandering around,
Hey.
healed my rads.
That thing used to be.
And fun fact, the armor you wear in this game, you can actually get part of the creation mod from Fallout 4. Both are made by the same company, Bethesda. This was the room I cut out and just skipped over to this one. I actually skipped a lot of this room too because there wasn't much to show. I went in down that little section down there and there was nothing. Did a little inventory management there. No idea what that noise is. These containers were in that room that we skipped. And I keep accidentally using that. It's the combat focus ability. Newt. I can't thank you enough for the risk you're taking on my behalf, on behalf of the volunteers who no longer have a voice. The thought of you cooped up in the cargo container, hurtling toward Earth, it kills me, even though Will says it's safe and that you have plenty of food. I know the evidence on the thumb, thumb drive, flash drive, cannot make amends for everything that's happened, but exposing the truth can prevent it from happening again. Thank you, friend. The drive in your possession contains incriminating evidence related to illegal experiments performed aboard Talos 1 in the Psychotronics lab. This includes, but not limited to, classified internal memorandums, key research data spanning several decades, names and roles of all personnel involved, volunteer IDs matched with their real names. This information will collaborate corroborate the existence of an extraterrestrial species called Typhon, as well as the fact that all neuromods are made at the expense of human victims. I harbor no illusion that this will be easy to believe, but I can testify to its veracity, assuming I'm still alive, because I was a participant in many of the experiments referenced. Yeah, I don't think whoever I don't know if this is the same guy that you know that's talking about in the cargo thing, but I think it is that he was given the letter to. But yeah, he obviously didn't make it. Now over here is where we another way in. It was where we came in at the end of last episode.
Micah, not sure you got your train flag. Morgan is making her way to you now. Warning you and anyone else, so you don't shoot her accidentally. Or anything. Morgan? I thought she's exile.
Yeah, as you can tell, I fought over the
Morgan?
talking.
Mihaela, I didn't think to check your transcribe. Not sure how you got here. I thought you left because. Never mind. Airlocks and lifts are locked up. Like my lungs. Paraplexis. I'm even seeing the spots now. You were right. Even if I could get my booster shots from my office. But I think I can get us out. By cycling the main reactor to bypass the lockdown. I know it sounds crazy, but I can walk you through it. I do it myself, but just get here, alright?
Yeah, this was a little panic at a time because they kind of came up behind me and blocked me in for the corner there for a moment. Yeah, you see that door right there? It actually goes over to the area we're about to go to, and I never realized it. I kept using this hatch that we're about to find. Also, I learned something right here, but it also became unnecessary. I'll explain more later, but you'll see that I'll hack it. But you notice it still says corrupted. I'll go into more detail later when it comes relevant, because as you can tell right there, I was trying to get the goo off and it didn't work. One thing video games have shown me: good things come in vents. Quote from Ellis from Left 4 Dead 2. Though Rochelle has a better quote: "The air duct of love." Because they were in a tunnel of love ride, and they had to go through a vent. Yeah, you'll notice I've tried to edit out a lot of the inventory management, and of course, edit out the hacking. I already showed off the hacking in an earlier episode. Now this one, I didn't try to hit the goo off of. Yeah, actually, it did a lot of wandering here. I almost cut this section out right here, but I wanted to show that it does, in fact, loop around. As you see the engineers being attacked, it's a poltergeist. Did it just say F you? Now, somehow the engineer operator, you'll see here in a moment, once I get there, I healed there, by the way. That was what that cut was. I went into the inventory and got the health kit. You'll see that the engineer is back to being hostile. I thought there was a telepath, but it turned out there wasn't. So I don't know why I went hostile again. That'll come in handy later. This is I went off to go heal, and then
This might sound strange coming from me, but I admire what you did. You didn't have to help Chief Elazar and her people in the cargo bay, especially well, considering you intend to destroy the station. You gave them some hope, even if it's brief.
like I said, I had went off to go heal because I didn't have the health items to get a full health. Two quick notes. I know this goes without saying, but remember to take extra safety precautions, especially if you've been awake for more than 20 hours. I don't want to see someone dozing off and falling into the turbines. Also, special thanks to Devia for maintaining the decontamination chamber doors. We've gone 4 months without having to flush the air from the sub section. So, great work. That's just explaining the decontamination thing. Fan 3 malfunction, which you might have noticed it on the other clip. There was something sticking in it. And there was some reading material for you. Yeah, I thought about going down there, but decided against it. I do end up going down there, but I actually cut it out because there was nothing worth going down there to see. Diagnosing the ponds. Jam. Only one person would dare give me the raspberry. Oh, love Spaceballs. Crude humor, but fun. Looking forward to the sequel coming out. There have been so many rumors of sequels on that. Like, at one point, they tried to make a sequel called Spaceballs 3 in search of Spaceballs 2, which they still could do for this one. I don't know yet. Now we'll go through this whole decontamination thing,
Human control room. Atmospheric decontamination
and
procedure initiated.
I,
Oxygen flush
I end up cutting
commencing
to the
in
end.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hazardous atmosphere conditions. Decontamination completed successfully. Stand by for oxygenation.
And there we go.
Oxygen levels low.
But what needs oxygen to survive? Other than, a living creature. Fire! So you can tell we took out the fire. Now, this is what I was talking about. I'd get into. I tried talking to the engineer, and it wouldn't talk to me. So I took its bits. And like I said, there was nothing down in that one area, so I cut it out. There really isn't much here either.
No alien material detected. Checking coordinates. Servers offline.
And that door is closed. Now, there's a trap there. That's from the fake cook who is now trying to take us out for some reason, even though we helped him. I get a little annoyed with myself while rewatching this, though. Stash in the hall by the escape pods. No time to rig a drop. Good luck.
Target no type and material detected.
I, I read that note, and well, we'll get into why I'm annoyed with myself here in a moment. And I did almost cut this part out, but I thought it was important enough to show. Well, for one, we got a fabrication plan for the anti-rad. There was also a file there that I'll pull up for you to read. And obviously the neuromod. But there's another trap here. But it's a, you know,
Requesting new
operator
operator.
dispenser for a medical operator.
Transtar.
I don't know why I came back, but I do know that the reason why I didn't cut this out is I could not figure out how to get in there. There's clearly a key card you need, but I don't know where it is. And that was a telepath that just went by. We'll go meet him later. There's a fabricator there. I eventually use that to make myself some ammo. And no, I didn't use the little glitch to do it. While I'm recording, I will not use the glitch. So, what I have when I start the video is what I have. And there's a few things in here that I thought was worthy of being shown. There's a turret there, but that's not really one of them. But it is nice to know that it's there. But there's neuromods and that book. And then one more thing. I don't know if you can see it very well right here, but it's bottom right over there. Well, now it's just to the right. Health kit. Don't know why I left this in, honestly. But it's another weapon ammo or weapon upgrade, which might be because I wanted to show off that getting very close to finishing off the upgrade of the gold gun. I found a lot of those in that one room I cut out. That was about all that was in there was the weapon upgrades. Also, I got this ability. We'll talk more about why this got shown in later.
No type and material detected.
Oh, we just passed the hallway for the escape pods that I didn't notice that the note. I didn't realize the note was talking about. So now I have to go back there at some point.
Alika, this is Kirk Rimmer. We're in escape pod 8 and 9. Everyone is secured, but the launch controls aren't responding.
Did you follow all the steps on the launch card exactly?
Yeah, the klaxon even sounded, but the hatch won't close. We can't separate.
Hang on. I'm looking at the schematics. There should be a remote sensor on the explosive bolts.
Alika, please, hurry.
I see all the leads, but wait, this can't be right.
Can you launch us from there? Can you at least close the goddamn hatch?
No, I don't think so. Is there a manual crank of some sort? Remmer. Remmer, do you copy?
Yeah, the one we took out when we first got into this room was that guy. I wish there was a way to save him, but there wasn't. The reason I'm doing a quick save here is showing off that what the escape pod does when you try to launch it.
This escape pod is currently
Absolutely
experiencing
nothing.
malfunction. Engineering has been notified. Please use another.
So yeah, you can't use the escape pods. I actually tested on another one, but but it didn't. It did the same thing. So take out the operator. Yeah. I'll come over and show you something real quick. There's the telepath we saw earlier. But we came over here to try to go to the reactor control room, but we couldn't. Now, I'm not sure how I fixed it. We'll get there in a moment. I know, I keep saying we'll get there in a moment. I know what's going on, but it won't make as much sense until we get there. Now, that second operator actually came from the catwalk up above. And I point that out because this is obviously, I'm showing you the second time around now. It didn't come down the second time until after I was fighting the telepath. And it came up behind me. But there wasn't a whole lot in this room. Now, I don't know if it was because of the telepath or because of this thing I'm about to repair over here. But it was either because of the telepath or this thing right here, because we go back to that door later and it works fine. But I don't know exactly what I did that fixed it, you know? Here in a moment, there'll be a cut for when I heal. Because I do have a health kit on me. And some food, I think. I don't remember now. but I might have just used the health kit. Now, but the reason why I left this section in was because of that. Investigate the map, but I don't know where the map is. It might be on the computer, which is unpowered, but I never figured out how to power it up. As you can tell, there's an operator in there, but again, I never figured out how to get in there. Now, here's where the jumping thing came to be an issue. Now, you see I'm jumping around, but I misjudged my jump and splat. Yeah, that had to hurt. I end up cutting the rest of this room out because, like I said, never figured out what to do.
I know you didn't visit the reactor much. You're always locked away in your workshop. But I can track you through your bracelet and guide you from here.
Yeah, I'm going to be scanning that telepath, and then I'm going to go heal.
Scan complete. New psionic aptitude available.
And there we are. We're back from getting healing, which this is actually where we're about to end. Still got a few more things we're going to do before we end, but this is where I decided to split the 2 hours of footage that I I had gotten. Also around here, I end up having somebody come to the door, and I had to stop recording for a while, anyways. And I originally was going to make them all one, but since I had to do a voiceover, I decided to split them anyways. And a couple of reading material things for you. And then we'll hack that. And there was nothing to read. We got the map. I'm the map, I'm the map, I'm the map. And security check. Okay. Oh yeah, it opened the door. And then I think I activate a operator. Oh, there was already an operator. But that is it for today. That's all I had recorded for this part of it. Like I said, I've got a whole another hour of footage, and I'm sure I got to do voiceover for that too. And being that next week is Christmas, I don't know if I'm going to have time to actually doing recording, so it worked out better this way, so I can have videos coming out for this week and next week. I still got to do the voiceover for that and the editing for that section, but we did get the whole reactor stuff done, and we actually ended up back at our office. But anyways, until next time, have fun out there.